Check our website at Route106Motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. Route106Motors.com.
Hey, this is your girl, Jay Monique.
And this is Sarah, a.k.a. Chulita Sarita.
And make sure you listen to us on Armed Radio Global. Catch us on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This one's explosive.
Hey everyone, this is Monica Ursino. Be sure to check out my music on WARM, Boston's digital dance station. And you can catch me on Night Talk with Joe Rocks Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everybody, Mike Allen here. You can hear me live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on TuneIn Radio. Or you can visit my website at www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com for more showtimes, updates, and replays. So remember, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the air with Mike Allen, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Hey everybody, this is Paul and Jim. Join us on Pod Talk Radio, Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after Night Talk with Joe Rocks,
where we will be discussing subjects one doesn't say in polite society. We're rude and crude and unwavering in our opinions.
So please tune in to Armed Radio Global, home of the big guns.
Boom!
Talking about what would happen if you were to come out with an alternative energy source, and then we, in kind of getting on the lines of the conspiracy theories, stuff like that. Well, it's not kept out of other areas which you would expect it to be out of, like tennis. Apparently, tennis right now is under investigation for match fixing. Evidence of suspected match fixing revealed. Even Djokovic said that he has been approached. It says secret files exposing evidence of widespread suspected match fixing at top-level world tennis, including at Wimbledon, can be revealed by BBC and BuzzFeed News. Over the last decade, 16 players who have ranked in the top 50 have been repeatedly flagged to the Tennis Integrity Unit, TIU, over suspicions they have thrown matches. All the players, including winners of Grand Slam titles, were allowed to continue competing. The TIU, which was set up to police the sport, said it had a zero-tolerance approach to betting-related corruption. Chris Kermode, who heads the Association of Tennis Professionals, rejected claims, evidence of match fixing, and have been suppressed for any reason or isn't being thoroughly investigated. But he added, while BBC and BuzzFeed reports mainly refer to events from about 10 years ago, we will investigate any new information. Well, they had a report from Djokovic that he was approached. So this is kind of like a dropping a bomb right in the middle of, tennis as we know it. It's kind of like, Pete Rose betting on his games. I like they showed over the weekend Pete Rose signs his baseballs. Pete Rose, how many hits or whatever it is, steroids 0. I don't understand that. You got guys that can admittedly be cheating and cheated for years under a substance abuse, and they're still considered to be able to play the game and be considered, in the Hall of Fame, and Pete Rose isn't. So, but looking at tennis, Roger Federer says they want to come out, have the names come out of who's been involved. They don't want to see a blanket over the whole sport and say, who is involved. Don't just sit there and say, oh, there were some people cheating and we got evidence of it, and then not come out and tell everybody. So he wants people to be named. It's kind of like when they did in baseball, they did that, I don't know, there's 50 or 100 players that were tested positive for, steroids, and then they didn't name them, and then they leaked their names, and then finally they had to name them. So, but yeah, I saw that today, and I was like going, whoa. I mean, I'm not a huge tennis fan or whatever. I mean, I enjoy watching Wimbledon and the U.S. Open and stuff like that. But, that's not a huge sport I'm into. I mean, it's pretty cool to watch, the grass court that they have over in Wimbledon. But it says world number one Novak Djokovic said he was approached to fix a match earlier in his career on Monday as allegations of corruption in tennis rocked the start of the Australian Open. So this is it said BBC and BuzzFeed claimed 16 players have reached the top 50 in the past decade, including Grand Slam champions, and repeatedly suspected of fixing matches for betting syndicates. Man, I'll tell you what, I would not want to get involved in that, because if you're starting to get into an area where, if you don't keep them happy, you're going to all of a sudden, whoa, your car went off the road. So we had a Danville, sad story here. It says Danville officer Thomas Cottrell shot. He was shot dead, weapon and cruiser stolen. Ohio police officer found dead with gun and cruiser missing. Said the Ohio State Patrol had deployed extra units and aviation resources after Danville officer was reported missing and possibly wounded late Sunday. Officer Thomas Cottrell was found dead with his service weapon or cruiser just before midnight, missing, according to Knox County Sheriff's Department. It said dispatchers had received a tip off from a female caller that Danville cops were in danger because her ex-boyfriend, Herschel Jones, had left with weapons and was looking to kill an officer. What's wrong with somebody? I mean, said dispatchers tried to reach the officer but were unsuccessful. The sheriff's office added sheriff's deputies searched the village of Danville and found Cottrell's body behind a municipal building 27 minutes after initial call. Said Jones was taken into custody following a foot chase around 1:36 a.m. after he'd been seen running from a residence, the sheriff's office said. So, your heart goes out to the family and friends of, and the co-workers too. You know, to have a partner or somebody or a co-worker that you've known for years and stuff like that get shot and killed in the line of duty is just overwhelming. If you've never been to an officer's funeral, they're overwhelming. It says Jay McDonald, president of Ohio's Fraternal Order of Police, said in a statement Monday morning that the organization was devastated by Cottrell's death. His assassination is the latest reminder of how dangerous police work is and how the police are targeted for violence. The 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police of Ohio will never forget that officer. Cottrell gave his life in the service of others, McDonald said. There was no race involved in this shooting. This is a white guy killed a white police officer. Hardly made any of the mainstream news. And it comes off of yesterday. This officer dies less than hours from when Hillary Clinton said officers need to be retrained because of systemic racism in law enforcement. It's not systemic racism. Officers don't generally, that I know of, that I've ever dealt with. I've worked with officers from every race. It's not a systemic racism. What it is officers don't like dealing with turds. And that's what you deal with as an officer, pretty much. If you deal with somebody that's a good person, they generally let them go. And they don't deal with them very long. The ones you keep coming back up, it's like your toilet keeps getting clogged and the crap keeps flowing over. And that's where you deal with. You're wading in it all the time. Doesn't matter what color of skin they have. So, I don't believe the race issue. I'm not a racist. I don't believe in claiming that you're being discriminated against because of your race. If you're not out there committing a crime, the officers generally don't bother with you. I'm sure there's incidents where, yes, there are officers that go overzealous and do stupid things. But I don't think it's a systemic, as you want to call it. And for a presidential candidate to come out and say that, I think that was a slap in every officer's face. Me being an ex-officer, I know a lot of current officers right now and great people. One of my best friends when I was a police officer before, I just call him O. That's what I say. I thought he was a great guy, still a great guy to this day. We still occasionally trade, chats on Facebook because, we're so far away from each other now. I went and stayed at his house for a week. I mean, just class guy. And if it was systemic racism, I wouldn't have done it. Because I'm white and he's black. He's one of the best. I would do just about anything for the guy because he's that classic a guy. And another one, D, I could just say D. There were four of us that hung around together. I mean, all the time. When I had to go out of town, he watched my house. He lived at my house and stayed there and watched my house for me. there were 4 of us officers that hung around quite a bit together because we worked together. Went to Dee's wedding. Him and his wife got married. Yeah, it was just. I mean, there was just. There's no racism in law enforcement like that. Not in the bigger cities. There's situations that you come into that you deal with. I think you deal it more in the smaller areas. And there's parts of town where you go that might be predominantly black, and if I walked into that predominantly black area being white, they'd be calling me names. But yeah, I was real surprised by Hillary's comments. She didn't know. She'd never been in law enforcement. She never had to deal with, never had to worry about somebody going into a situation to where you might have to protect your own life or protect somebody else's. She's lived under that silver spoon. You know, she sat there and cried and whined when she left the White House that they were so broke. You want to see broke? And you want to see people that live in fear every night? Where they park their car in front of their house, not because they expect that, let's just make it a parking lot in our front yard. They park it right in front of their house in their yard, hopefully to stop bullets from going through it. They go into their house. I've been to drive-by shootings or gang hits where people are dead right there. I've seen a lot of it, and I don't think there's systemic racism anywhere. I would go into any situations. It didn't matter. And I treat everybody with the same respect, and the same respect I expected me. I never liked calling people I dealt with by nicknames. I like calling them by their full name. It's just because I wanted them to understand that I'm going to respect them as long as they respect me. And that's generally what law enforcement is. You have to learn how to talk to people. And that's throughout all of life. But here's a sad situation. And I mean, it would be tough for me to handle this. New Jersey EMS official who had served his community as a civil servant for more than 3 decades. He died of a heart attack after responding to a car crash involving his daughter. Captain Eskil Scott Danielson, 49, discovered his 19-year-old daughter was involved in a car crash along Route 206. As he and the rest of his Lakeland Rescue Squad responded to the scene about 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. He had gotten up to the accident, and within a few minutes he had got a phone call from his daughter letting him know she was in the accident. His brother, Andover Township Police Chief Eric Danielson, told Inside Edition. After he helped treat his daughter, Alicia, and the other occupant of the other vehicle, Scott Danielson traveled to Newtown Medical Center to check on the well-being, Eric Danielson said. Scott Danielson suffered a massive heart attack and collapsed in the waiting room, his brother said. He was airlifted to Morristown Medical Center about 4:30 p.m. and could not be saved. Imagine going to an accident and respond, and it be you're having to do life-saving, and happen to be your daughter. One of the kids that worked for me is a paramedic. Actually, he's a fireman now. He was a paramedic, and he worked for EMT. He was an ambulance, EMT. Heard the call when his dad died. Didn't know it was his dad, of course. Luckily, he didn't make the call. He told me that he had heard the call go out. I'd heard of several officers throughout my career, being in law enforcement, where they respond to a call and it be a family member of theirs. And they stand there in direct traffic until somebody relieves them. And they know fatality. One I heard where the officer responded to a fatality accident and it was his mom. And he stood there in directed traffic until, he was able to do is have somebody take over for him. But I mean, that just overwhelming to be able to stand there and do that. So you feel sad for for Scott Danielson, an EMT. I've been to, my daughter called me and was involved in an accident. And the first thing out of my mouth was, "Are you okay?" And she was hysterical, but she was okay. I did get called by the EMTs when my son was involved. They were moving flags one time for the Explorers. And they're flags for the 4th of July. And as they were putting them out at the cemetery, they were on a trailer. And the trailer, big, huge trailer, they would haul a car on, broke free from the truck and went careening through the cemetery, at about 25 miles an hour. And luckily, nobody was in the cemetery yet because it was beginning of the weekend. Whatever. I mean, if anybody there to kill them. And they were bailing off this thing and ended up, there was like 16 people on this trailer. And, lucky nobody got hurt, majorly hurt. But they, would get called by the EMTs and say, I can't give you a status on your son until you get here. That little freaks me out, what condition he's in. And he was fine, but he just got a slight cut and bruising or whatever, but nothing major. But I mean, when they tell you they can't give you any information, your mind's going about 900 miles an hour and you're trying to get there. So, I feel for this family. If, talk about kind of switching gears here. This is, Georgia Democrats introduce an assault weapons confiscation bill. On January 11th, Democrats in Georgia's State House introduced a bill that bans assault weapons and opens the door for seizure of such weapons, along with accessories like high-capacity magazines. The bill, HB 731, is sponsored by Mary Margaret Oliver, Democrat 83rd, Stacey Abrams, Democrat 89th, Carolyn Hughley, Democrat 136th, Pat Gardner, Democrat 57th, Darshun Kendrick, Democrat 93rd, and D. Hawkins Heigler, Democrat 91st. It says, according to the text of HB 731, the bill focuses on dangerous instrumentalities and practices by prohibiting the possession, sale, transportation, distribution, or use of any certain assault weapons, large capacity magazines, armor-piercing bullets, and incendiary 50 caliber bullets. Moreover, the details punishment for crimes involving the possession, sale, transport, distribution, and use of certain assault weapons, large capacity magazines, armor-piercing bullets, and incendiary 50 caliber bullets. It also designates certain weaponry and ammunition as contraband and requires seizure of such by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. It says Representatives Mary Margaret Oliver suggests 10 other representatives have joined 6 original bill sponsors. Announcement posted to Oliver's webpage says. So you go through this. They want to go into the confiscation. And then it's going to go from then, it's going to go to confiscating handguns. Every day. Here, I got another story here. And this is not just, here's another one. This is a story in Washington State. Proposed gun law in Washington State calls on police to inspect homes of assault weapon owners. With each proposed anti-gun bill put forth by Democrats across the U.S., demands to appear getting more and more restrictive on gun owners. While the Obama administration pushed for ban on so-called assault weapons and universal background checks, Democrats in both California and Missouri have proposed legislation that will result in possible confiscation of semi-automatic rifles. Now, Democratic lawmakers in Olympia, Washington last week introduced legislation that would allow county sheriffs to inspect homes of semi-automatic owners once a year. Seattle Times columnist Danny Westneat describes the move as Orwellian. The proposed bill, Senate Bill 5737, would ban the sale of semi-automatic weapons that use detachable magazines and magazines that contain more than 10 rounds. It would also subject law-abiding gun owners to random searches by the county sheriff. Every day I get articles about gun defenses, gun defense stories. Here's just a few of them. It says these Katie and Matt Claxon were filling up their car at a Springfield, Missouri gas station. This is Missouri. Who wants to? Their 4 children are in the car as well. Matt was pumping gas when a stranger approached Katie, who was still in the car. The stranger opened the car door and threatened Katie with a large knife. Katie called for Matt when he drew his Beretta pistol and told the man to leave. The assailant said, quote, "You're lucky he has a gun," as he closed the car door and backed away. The couple called police and kept an eye on the man who tried to open the doors. The assailant was arrested by police. That could have been totally the other way. If they take these guns away, what would have happened if he killed that? Here's another one. Mother of 4 used a gun to save her children and herself from 3 armed home invaders. Security camera video shows 3 men kicking in the back door of his home outside Dayton, Ohio. The armed thieves held the woman and her 4 children at gunpoint. The thieves hit the homeowner in the head and face with their guns and demanded she open the husband's safe. The homeowner grabbed her gun and the thieves emptied the safe. She shot one of the thieves and the 3 tried to make their escape. The wounded criminal died outside the home, still clutching his firearm. Third one, 2 teenagers wearing masks walked into a Chicago liquor store. One of them hopped over the counter and started beating the store clerk. The other robber remained in front of the counter. A relative of the store owner heard the commotion from upstairs, saw the robbery suspects when he looked down from a stairwell. The family member pulled his gun. He shot and killed the 2 thieves. Police suspect the 2 criminals had robbed at least 2 other stores in the area. The liquor store was robbed several years ago. Police said the armed employee in the liquor store would probably not face charges. Shouldn't. A mother alone with her 3 children spotted an intruder in her yard. She called 911, but the police would take many minutes to arrive at this remote home outside Austin, Texas. The intruder tried the front door, but it was locked. The intruder broke through the kitchen door. The homeowner said she was armed, but the intruder would not leave. He stopped advancing after she shot him. She shot him once. The mother said, "I kept yelling to get out of my house and that I have a gun. I'm convinced I did the right thing. He made the choice to come into my house. He was not going to get past me to get to my children." Emergency medical services transported the wounded intruder to the hospital by helicopter. The intruder is expected to survive and will face charges when he is released. Now, think about this. She is going to be in fear for her life now, thinking that this guy is going to retaliate against her. Now she's going to need to have a gun on her at all times. Two men entered a T-Mobile phone store in Chicago. For a few minutes, they shopped for phones. Then they pulled out guns and started robbing the place. One of the store employees had his concealed carry permit and was armed. He presented his own handgun and shot the two robbers. He hit one of the robbers in the groin and the arm, and the other one in the abdomen and the arm. The thieves were able to run from the store, while another store employee followed them outside and gave police their description. The thieves drove to a nearby hospital where the police took them into custody. The store manager said, "I think concealed carry is a great opportunity for managers, workers, and employees to protect themselves. Our employees did a great job to protect themselves and others." Local businessmen said the cell phone store had been robbed several times in the last month. A regional manager for T-Mobile said the company allows employees with concealed carry license to have weapons at work. That is class. Let that person defend themselves. It's so easy to sit in your little chair in the state house, or wherever state you work, and put out a law banning stuff because you know it's not going to affect you. I mean, you look at, here's one in New York police assailants. While beating a man, they were chanting ISIS. Why do you think people are so worried about having guns to protect themselves now? You look over what's going on in Europe, and you look at how people are afraid of what's going on here, and our economy starts to go to crap. You look out what's going to happen here. People need money. Here's a story that's come out. This was on PamelaGeller.com. This one, it just makes me sick. 13-year-old German-Russian girl was kidnapped on her way to school by 3 Muslim refugees and raped for 30 hours. No word in the Merkel media, of course, but these horrors are daily now. German police says there was no rape. They have a picture of a screenshot of the girl. The German-Russian community is appalled by the crime. Be silent about the German police and the media, because the spiral of silence is raging in the social media dispute where the message truth or right propaganda. The victim described the perpetrators as Arab men. Epoch Times called the Berlin police and received from a spokeswoman the following official statement. After the police investigation, there was neither abduction nor rape. Why do they want to hide this? What did happen? On January 11th, the 13-year-old disappeared in the morning on her way to school, and the police published an APB. Tuesday noon of the following day, she reappeared. According to the company, that she'd been abducted by Arab men who had blindfolded. They kidnapped her in an apartment where they detained for 30 hours against her will and repeatedly raped her. The crime scene is suspected near Falkenberg. After she was released in Hellersdorf Middle, the girl had hung with strangers to seek help. The German-Russian community reacted in horror. I don't know why they're denying it. You look at there was a company, and this has nothing to do with rape or anything like that. But there was a company here. It says there was a Wisconsin manufacturing company. Dozens of Muslim employees at a Wisconsin manufacturing company claims that they were forced to quit this week after the company charged its prayer on the job policy to one that prevents them participating in the daily prayers to Mecca. Well, you want to work there or you want to pray? If working time, you pray on your own time. WBAY TV reported that before Thursday, Somali Muslims employed by Aaron's Manufacturing were allowed to leave the producing line twice a shift in order to participate in 2 of the 5 daily prayers required by the Islamic faith. Aaron's, which is based out of Brillion, Wisconsin, primarily manufactures snowblowers and riding mowers. The new policy, as told to the station by a company spokesman, only allows employees to pray during scheduled breaks in a designated prayer rooms. Our manufacturing environment does not allow for unscheduled breaks in production. The dozens of employees affected by the policy allege that praying only during a meal break goes against their religion. If someone tells you go pray in your break and the break time is not prayer time, it's impossible to pray. Well, no, it's not impossible to pray. It's against your religion. So it says the spokesman added the company put a considerable amount of effort into finding a solution that would work for both sides, which including meeting with members of the Somalian employee group. Dan Aarons, the company's chairman and CEO, also wrote in an open letter to Twitter, reads in part, "We continue to be open to any employees returning to work under the new policy. We respect their faith and respect the work they have done at Aaron's, and we respect their decision regardless of their choice to return to work or not." So, per law established by the Equal Opportunity and Employment Commission on religious tolerance in the workplace, an employer does not have to accommodate an employee's religious beliefs or practices if doing so would cause undue hardship to the employer. The Council for Islamic American Relations, CAIR, is also calling on Aaron's to reverse policy per a tweet sent on Saturday. So they want them to cave to them. And I got to give credit to Aaron's for being able to stand up. But I guarantee you our Department of Justice will get involved. Just like the cake bakers. It says, let's see here. Let me see, there's another article I have that's kind of on the same lines. Oh, yes, it was just come off WoundedAmericanWarrior.com. Let's see here. I'm getting the article up here. Let's see here. There we go. It says Muslims fired for not doing their job delivering beer. Can you guess what the judge did for them? It says, this is their article. It says, how in the hell can Christians be fined millions for not making a cake that goes against their beliefs, but the Muslims who do the same thing are awarded $250,000 each for violating their religious rights? How is this legal? Why are Americans not fighting back? Why won't the Obama administration represent the Christians? From IJ Review, 2 Muslim truck drivers were who sued their former employees for religious discrimination after being fired for refusing to make beer deliveries have been awarded $240,000 by a jury. An Obama administration represented them in the case. This was Fox News host Megyn Kelly was flabbergasted. The Obama administration actually represented the 2 Muslims in this case, but sometimes take a very different position in the case of Christians trying to assert their religious beliefs. She then said to Fox News senior judicial analyst Andrew Napolitano, so in this case, the Muslim truck drivers, the Obama administration through EEOC is all in. This is what they said. We're very proud to support the rights of workers to the equal treatment in the workplace without having to sacrifice their religious beliefs or practices. It's fundamental to American principles of religious freedom and tolerance. But when it comes to the Christian bakers, it's not fundamental. Napolitano was equally perplexed. That's correct. It's unfortunate when the government interferes with the private dispute over religious views and takes sides and chooses one religion over another. To the point, the Christian owners of Melissa Sweet Cakes were fined $135,000 by the state of Oregon for refusing to bake a wedding cake for a lesbian couple. And Kentucky clerk Kim Davis was jailed for refusing to issue same-sex marriage licenses. Napolitano offered an explanation for the administration's interest in the Muslim truck driver case. The way the feds intervened, they wanted this case because they wanted to make a point that they're now made. The U.S. government and courts can legally have one set of laws for Christians, another set of laws for Muslims and other religious groups. The court's ruling throws into relief that not all Americans are legally recognized as possessing religious liberty and freedom of conscience. I don't understand how it's supposed to be freedom of religion. Why can one tout, oh, it's for my religious beliefs, and the other one say, it's for my religious beliefs, which is the same thing, and it's totally different outcomes. So, I don't know. That one kind of threw me off. I don't understand why the government gets involved. But here's one. We're going to get more into this on Friday. I'll talk more about this. This is a bill banning child marriage in one of the Muslim countries, and they turned it down. I was just like, ugh. Where? I mean, what's up with that? But I do got to give credit to this is one of the first ones I've really seen where they've outspoken. Muslim denounces ISIS as the enemies of humanity in public protest in Michigan. It said Muslims against ISIS. They have a big banner. They're standing behind it. And I got to give credit. It was on Monday a protest held in Dearborn, Michigan, home to one of the largest Muslim populations. The object of protest wasn't the U.S. government, but instead the Islamic State. So I got to give them credit, actually standing up and protesting against them. That's what we need. We need more of that. We're going to talk more about coming up on Friday. You got warrantless cell phone searches. I forgot to talk about is Hillary Clinton's comment. She knows how much money influences politics. Or politicians, are actually. I'm like, yeah, because she's bought probably a few. Or they paid her. But I wanted to do is get into a little bit. Here's a wild story. This, you're talking about medical stuff earlier. It says animal brought back to life after 30 years in deep freeze. People, had talked about, you think about that. It's always been in the movies about them, and this is the start of it. You're going to see it coming to, people are going to get froze right before they die to see if they can do is come back in the future. I don't doubt it at all. I mean, if you're gonna go on, you're gonna see it to where they're gonna transfer their consciousness or whatever, something. I mean, you're gonna see stuff, all kinds of stuff happen. So, but all I want to do is talk about. It must be on my next page here. Oh, there was this is a crazy photo somebody took out of a plane. It was a mysterious shadow figure walking on the clouds. I mean, you see the figure. If you can look it up, just search mysterious shadow figure walking on the clouds, and it's crazy. I mean, they even zoom in on it. You can see it's got like a demonic looking face to it, and it's even got a shadow. Looks like somebody walking, like big Hulk looking thing walking. Yeah, it's something you got to just check out and see, make your opinion what you think it is. But this is a story I wanted to talk about. This happened in Bangkok. And this is a video that was posted. I watched the video. I don't know if you've ever seen it. This is what they're saying is they feel that says, have you ever heard any aliens speaking? Yes, the extraterrestrial kind. At a seminar of science and consciousness at a Bangkok University last month, a professor who's 80 years old told dozens of participants that he was able to contact a Martian through his smartphone. And no, not callupmartian.com. But he put the call on speakerphone, and the audience gathered around him, curiosity. And you got to watch the video. You can hear it. It's being translated from some lady, but it said apparently through the interpreter warned that human races is in danger of more natural disasters that will occur across the world, including Thailand. The Martian said the economy will not get better in 2016 and urged people to do good deeds. The out-of-this-world conversation was captured on video by one of the audience members and was later posted on social media by Facebook using Kangglider.com with a viewer's discretion advised warning. Many people had scoffed against it and ridiculed. But people also wondered if the one professor was trying to mislead the audience. And they said, how would he benefit from it? It says, I feel for the doctor after reading the comments on Facebook. The doctor does not gain anything from this, and his health is deteriorating. At least it makes us understand how to receive the issue. Like the issue of ghosts and spirits, it's up to your own discretion. Some people choose to believe, while others don't. Because they haven't experienced, that's not unusual. So the professor had made headlines 4 years ago when he claimed that aliens had warned him the next world war will start before 2017. Well, that doesn't surprise me at the rate we're going. So, I mean, you got to watch the video, listen to it. Definitely sounds like a different language going on there, but I'm not sure what's really happening. So, make sure that, talk. Oh, did I just switch screens there? Through openminds.tv, you can check out and see what's going on for anything related to MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. I've had some of the biggest minds in UFOs. We've had Dr. Stanton Friedman. We've had Bill Burns, Alejandro Rojas. All the big names. So, do I feel like there's something going on there? Yeah. So keep your eyes on the skies. Who knows? You might see something. It says, you look at Triangle UFO hovered 50 feet over Kansas City band members. Wireless rectangle UFO videotaped over Indiana. Low-flying UFO over Ohio. California witness videotape hovering orbs over. So it's constantly happening every day, more and more. It's not like more and more people are starting to see this. So keep your eyes on the skies. Who knows what's going to happen? So just want to say, everybody have a great night, a great week, and most of all, be safe. Remember, if you got the license to carry, carry. If not, go to the classes and learn how. Get trained. Be ready to protect yourself. Who knows when you're going to need it. So have a great night, great week, and we'll see you on Friday.